Let's be honest here, everyone loves pizza. It's good, filling, and all around amazing. When I'm bored and hungry, my first solution is to make some pepperoni bread. I learned how to make it back when I took home ec in 8th grade. Since then, I have become the pepperoni bread making master, and it has become one of my favorite foods. Today, I'll be making some, and if you want, follow along with me and see how good it is for yourself. So what you're gonna need is some pepperoni, some mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan cheese, get shredded, not grated, pizza crust, you're gonna need an egg, and you're also gonna need a large pan, some pan spray, and an oven. And go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees. So first and foremost, you're gonna spray your pan with some pan spray, and then you're gonna take your pizza crust and unwrap it. And I'm really bad at this, so enjoy watching me struggle. And almost got it. Boom, there you go. All right, so now we're just gonna take our pizza crust and lay it down on our pan. So make sure when you're laying it down, make sure you make a nice open, wide space and spread it out a lot, and make sure it's a real even surface and that there's no cracks or holes in it. Just, the sides don't really matter, those can be all wonky, but just make sure it's nice and flat and even. And this is where we start laying down pepperoni. Now, about the pepperoni, you can go crazy on this. You can take a whole packet of pepperoni and lay every single slice down, or you could just do half the pack or a quarter. It really doesn't matter, it's kind of just to your preference. As you can see, when I'm finished, I pretty much covered the entire thing in pepperoni, and I don't really have a sort of scale for this, but the more pepperoni, the better. Yay! So now what I'm doing is I'm laying down the Parmesan and mozzarella cheese. So I'm gonna put down a very generous layer of cheese just so that when the bread is done, that there's no sort of air pockets inside, that most of it is just cheese and pepperoni. So that's what I suggest doing. There's, like I said, same goes with the pepperoni, there's really no skill to how much you can put in. And now what I'm doing is I'm folding up the bread, and I'm making sure that nothing gets out, no pepperonis slip out, and I'm gonna do that on the other side and make sure no pepperonis are slipping out. All right, and after I'm done folding it in, I'm just gonna check the sides and make sure that they're closed and shut off. And after that, we're going to take it and we're simply going to flip it over. We're gonna make sure the seam side is facing down against the pan. And after that, we're gonna move our little pepperoni baby to the side, and we're gonna take a small bowl and we're gonna take our egg and just chuck it in the bowl. Yeah! So after we break it, we're going to scramble it. And after it's done, we're just gonna pick it up and kind of move it and put our pepperoni baby back into frame, and we're simply going to brush the egg on top of it. So I'm using this little egg brusher. It's also used on like sauces for like barbecue. If you don't have this, a spoon works the exact same way. It does the exact same thing, so don't worry about that. And just make sure you get all the sides and all the little cracks and crevices, and you should be good to go. So after brushing it with egg, we're going to take it and we're going to put it into the oven. So after putting it into the oven, get a timer, get out your phone. For me, I'm just using my microwave. Set a 15-minute timer. And now that it's finished, we're gonna open up my oven and take out our pepperoni bread. And that looks really good. Jeez. So once it comes out of the oven, it's gonna be really hot, but after a couple minutes, I decided to do this really cool cross section, and that just looks so good. Oh my God. All right, so now I'm chopping it up. I usually do about 10 pieces, but you can do 6, 8, doesn't matter. I just always chop it into 10 because it makes it pretty easy to get. Now I'm just putting a couple pieces on my plate and make this nice cross section. So here's the final product. I strongly suggest y'all eat this with some marinara because honestly it makes it twice as better as it already is. And here's me taking the first bites, and as you can see, I'm really happy because it tastes really good and this is a great recipe. So that's the recipe. It's easy, quick, and pays off at the end. And as I said earlier, it's one of my favorite things to cook. And I'm sure if you make it, you and your family will definitely be fighting over the last slice. Thanks for listening.